Hi, I'm Carlos Marin, author of The Ultimate Success Formula, founder of the Unlimited Success Academy, and welcome to another episode of Your Unlimited Life, the show dedicated to teaching you how to be, do, and have everything that you desire in life. And you know what? In these times of lightning fast change, there are so many people that are really overwhelmed and confused about the state of our world, about our lives, that they're just stuck in the mud. They don't think that they can change. They don't think that they can create a better life. And you know what's interesting? Although we all live on the same planet, the reality of what's happening seems to be quite different to many different people depending upon their point of view. And I got to tell you, because this is critically important to understand, especially in this day that we're living in today. A belief is just a sense of certainty about something, about the meaning that something has, okay? It's something that you've thought, a thought that you've thought many times over, and therefore you've accepted it as the truth. It's just a sense of certainty. It's a meaning that you give something. Let me tell you a little story. When I was 4 years old, my grandfather, for my 4th birthday, gave me a horse, a beautiful white stallion. You see, I loved horses when I was a little kid, and I used to draw them, and my grandfather used to raise prize stallions. And so, I mean, the fact that a little 4-year-old kid could draw horses, I mean, he just thought that was the greatest thing in the world. So he gave me this white prize stallion for my 4th birthday. And when it was my birthday, they dressed me up in a little cowboy outfit with the little boots and the spurs and the cowboy hat and all that stuff. And my grandfather was sitting on the horse, and so my dad picked me up and handed me off to my grandfather. And when I got on that horse and got situated, the first thing I did was I just stuck those spurs into the horse, and the horse started bucking and just going nuts. And I went flying through the air, and thank God my dad was young back then, and he flew and caught me like a football. And boy, were they upset. They were pissed big time. They took my spurs away from me, and I was really, really mad. They didn't let me wear them for years. And I mean, and I was just all torn up about that. But that was kind of an exciting story. And, you know, I've told that to a bunch of people throughout the years. And a couple years ago, I was at my mom and dad's house in Miami, and we were sitting around talking about Cuba. And I said, boy, you know, tell me that story again about you know, my white horse and how, you know, because I have a lot of sketchy details about it. Fill me in on it. And they were like, what? What are you talking about? And I said, yeah, you know, when I was on the horse and I stuck the horse with the spurs and, you know, I went flying through the air and Dad caught me and all that. And they started laughing and they said, what, are you out of your mind? You never had a horse. The only horse you had was one of those with the little springs, you know, that you ride on and jump up and down. I mean, I was dying laughing. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, wait a second. I mean, what do you mean? You're telling me that I never had that horse? And they said, no, you never had a horse. Look at, here I had been living for 50 years. That happened when I was 4. And at the time that I was talking to my parents, I was 54 or 55 years old. You know, I'd been believing something for 50 years that had never happened. They said to me, where did you get that story? And I'm like, man, I could have sworn that my grandmother told me that story. Now, mind you, none of us could verify that because she'd been dead for like 15 or 20 years. And so, but as much as that was not true, to me it was true. It was my reality. I'd been living that, talking about it, telling it as a childhood story for 50 years. And here's the key, ladies and gentlemen. A belief doesn't have to be true. It may be an absolute lie. But you know what? Since we believe it's true, our subconscious mind will make it a reality in our lives. Now, in subsequent shows, we're going to talk more about the subconscious mind, but today I want to get this point down because, there's so many people suffering right now because of how fast change is happening, and they're resisting change so much. They think that change is the enemy. And it really isn't. I mean, think about this. How many times, the story of the young girl who maybe kind of grows up fast. Maybe her body is growing faster than her head, or her head's growing faster than her body. It's kind of an ugly duckling, awkward looking when she's young or going through puberty or whatever. And then all of a sudden she blossoms and she's gorgeous and she's just beautiful, but she still thinks she's ugly. She still thinks she's the ugly duckling. And she still feels self-conscious and feels bad. And you're looking at her and going, oh my God, this beautiful young girl, oh my gosh. But she still thinks she's ugly. So think about this. What is reality? What is reality? Because again, so many people are living so many different realities today when there is one world, one planet, we're all living on it. So let me tell you, there's two types of reality. The first type of reality is what we call perceptual reality. And so perceptual reality is what we perceive with our senses, with our sight, with our hearing, with our touch, with our smell, with our taste. It is what we perceive with our senses, and then we judge or reason with our conscious mind, and then impress that judgment, validity, truthness, or falseness in our subconscious mind. It's recorded in there. Okay? That's perceptual reality. Now, real reality, pardon the pun, is absolute reality. Absolute reality is infinite intelligence. It's principles, the principles that govern everything in existence. It's those principles we talked about in the last show, right? If you haven't watched that one, go back and watch that one. That's a really powerful episode. It's a little longer than usual, but worth it, trust me. And so this absolute reality is the law through which and by which everything works. It is how everything works, and it is absolute, and it is how everything functions, and it is what we can use to create the life of our dreams. The problem is that where most people live is in perceptual reality. And perceptual reality is nothing more than a limited view of the external world based on what we perceive with our physical senses. Okay? Now, the interesting thing about this perceptual reality is that it is relative to what we're experiencing in the moment, right? In other words, it is related to what we're experiencing in the moment and our perception of it, right? It's subject to what's happening around us. It is what we're perceiving again with our senses, but it's colored by the emotional state that we're in. If something's going on around us and we're in a negative state, we're going to perceive even happy, joyous moments in a negative way, right? If we're happy, we're going to perceive even negative things in a more positive light. And then it is the meaning that we give what is happening, what is going on, because of the emotional state that we're in, because of our mindset, because of our beliefs. And by the way, the meaning that we give things is usually colored by our habitual thinking, by our belief system, by our assumptions. Unfortunately, the foundation of this whole process is programmed before we could choose consciously, before we were old enough to choose. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what creates our success or failure, our wealth or our lack, our happiness or our sorrow. This is what creates the reality that we live in our lives. And this is what's happening in the world today. You know, we've got this massive, fast-paced change that's being driven by technology that's doubling every 12 to 18 months. I mean, it's driving change at such a pace, people can't keep up. It's an overload of information. And you know what? Different people give different have a different view of what's happening, and different people give different meaning to what is happening. Some see danger, some see destruction, some see loss, some see, just this uncertainty, and therefore, that's what they experience. Others, on the other hand, they see opportunity. They see, wow, a chance to move ahead. They see the creation of new things. They see success. They see wealth being created. And you know what? That's what they experience. You see, whatever you believe is true is the reality that you will experience in your life. That is why the world that we live in today is so different to so many different people. And as we go through this show, this program, through the course of the next year, one thing we're going to hit on and hit on and hit on over and over and over again is this whole thing on beliefs. Because as you also saw on the previous show on the universal principles, the law of life is the law of belief. As you believe, it is done unto you. What you believe to be true is the reality that you will experience in your life. And that is why, in the same world that we live in today, one person is experiencing extreme stress and lack and loss and, everything that you can name from a negative standpoint, and other people are looking at it and going, hey, it's the roaring 20s all over again. It's the chance to create new wealth, okay? And let me give you a perspective that maybe you haven't looked at before that will really, really help you, okay? Now, when I got started in business in the mid 80s, early 80s to mid 80s, I started my first businesses in the early 80s, and then when I got involved in network marketing was in the mid 80s. And during that time, there was a just tremendous uncertainty going on at that time too. Seems like these are 30-year cycles as I'm studying more and more about economy and demographics and so forth and so on. And so we had an oil shortage back then. We had really high interest rates. We had interest rates of like 18%, 21%. Homes, interest rates on homes were like 15, 16, 17%. Automobiles were 21%. It was crazy, okay? There was threats of war, just like there is today. There was doom and gloom. People were like, the world is ending. And you know what? When I got started in business, I saw the world that way because I associated with others. My friends, my people that I associated with, those people, they thought like me. They had a victim mentality. I had a victim mentality. So my reality was that. That's what I saw in the world. Therefore, that's what I found in the world. That's why I made $30,000, $35,000 a year, was frustrated, depressed, and broke. Okay? Then I started associating with winners. I got these mentors and started following them, associating with them. And these people had a success mindset. They saw opportunity and growth, where my friends saw lack and despair and the world is coming to an end. See, they taught me that change equals opportunity, and opportunity equals success and wealth. When I changed my viewpoint, my life changed. See, I started looking at change as a friend, not as an enemy, right? I started looking at the uncertainty happening in the world as opportunity. And if I could take advantage and solve the problems that were going on, the bigger the problem, the better the solution, the bigger the reward, then I could make more money, I could grow more, and I could expand, be more successful. My reality changed, and I became a millionaire. And you know what? You have that same opportunity. You have that same opportunity right now, today. We live in a day of unprecedented opportunity. You must understand, change brings opportunity. Okay? If there is no change, guess what? Let's say, because people are afraid of the unknown, but the unknown brings with it opportunity for growth. See, if there is no change, you stay the same. If there is no change, you stay in the same place. If there is no change, you keep having the same situation. If there is no change, you keep your same income, you will never advance. And you will keep your same problems if there is no change. So you've got to change that belief. Change is your friend. Change is your salvation. Change is your key to a new and better life. Embrace change. Welcome change. Take advantage of it, because this gives you the opportunity, this world, the fast-paced change that we live in today. If you take advantage of it, it gives you the opportunity to join the haves, to leave the have-nots behind, to join the ranks of the haves, to join the ranks of the super successful, to join the ranks of the rich, to join the ranks of the wealthy and the happy and those in super good health. All this technology, all this change is bringing about an unbelievable positive change in our world. If you'll change your beliefs, you can change your future. And a great starting point right now today is change your beliefs about change. Change equals opportunity. Change equals success, equals wealth, equals your unlimited life. So guess what? Right now, we have opportunity in front of us, and here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to share this program with everyone you love. Share it through my website, carlosmarin.com, or my YouTube channel, Carlos Marin TV, or my Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, which are all facebook.com/Carlos Marin Live, Twitter, Carlos Marin Live, Instagram, Carlos Marin Live. Share this information. If you're not subscribed to my TV and podcast channels or my website, you can do so at the end of this program on the links which will be provided on this video. And please, please, please join our global community and help me spread the word to the world that you can be, do, and have whatever you want by simply developing the mindset of the person who already has it. And anyone can do this. You can do this. Your brother can do it. Your friend can do it. Anyone can do this. Join me on my mission to inspire millions of people to know their true power, be free, and live their unlimited life. So, until next week, God bless you and live your unlimited life.